Touchdown, Razorbacks, 92 yards.
Jones wants to air deep. He's got somebody. At the 31, it's Smith.
Is in and out of the hands of the defender and caught by Richard Smith for Arkansas touchdown.
This is former Razorback, wide receiver, and All-American track and field athlete Richard Smith, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Richard, appreciate you making some time for us this morning. I popped into Tommy's office yesterday, and he can remember the exact moment, the exact people he was sitting with watching this game. And I know you remember being a part of this game. Take us back to 2003 and your experience in Tuscaloosa that day.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. 18 years ago. I mean, dang, that's hard to take right now. But going back to that game, I remember us getting the ball, going down and scoring first, and then coming back, being 10-10 at half. Thought we were doing really well going into halftime, 10-10 against Alabama. And then all of a sudden, we opened up the floodgates in the third quarter. They went up on us 31-10. A bunch of turnovers on our end, and they went down and had a couple big plays. And I remember us just grinding it out in the fourth quarter to try to get back in the game and getting it into overtime.
Yeah, the game goes to overtime. In the first overtime, you're put in a tough situation, 4th and 25. Matt just kind of has to heave it to the end zone. It gets picked off. There's an unsportsmanlike conduct on Alabama that pushes them back. They got a 4th and 1. And Bostic missed that field goal wide left, and you guys had life. And then we know what Chris Balsero did in the second overtime. Just be honest with me. When Matt threw that interception, did you think the game was lost at that point?
Well, in these overtimes, the way they're set up, if you don't score, you definitely think that you lost the game because you're on a short field. You would think that a kicker at the college level can make those kicks, but sometimes you do get a chance, and we were just ecstatic to have a chance to go back out there and play.
Yeah. Richard, I remember that was a day where there were storms to begin the afternoon. The game was delayed, as I remember. The stadium was under construction as they were expanding the stadium there at Bryant-Denny. Just kind of a weird start where you didn't get in rhythm early because of just the kind of day that you had. What other details might you remember about that day?
Well, I remember it being kind of packed. I do remember them having the construction going on. Mm-hmm. The weather delays of going back to the locker room. It was kind of one of those things. It had been a while, I think, since we had the Tennessee game in 2000 here at home where we had some weather delays like that where we had to get off the field. And it takes a little time because once you go out, you get warmed up, and once you go back to the locker room, sit down, you kind of get cool, your muscles get stiff, and it takes a little time to get back out there and get warmed up. And so, like you said, it can happen like that.
You know, you look at the fact that it's been nearly 20 years since you've won in Tuscaloosa. What would a win if Arkansas could get the stars to align and lightning could strike? Because seemingly the gap between these two teams would require nearly a miraculous performance by the Razorbacks and something that would be un-Saban-like for the Crimson Tide. That's the feel going into this game. What would it mean for this program under Sam Pittman to achieve a victory of that note tomorrow?
I think it would mean the world. I love what Sam and his staff have done here. They're bringing former Razorbacks back in. They're opening it up to all of us and welcoming us back. And what they're doing with these guys, these kids, these student athletes, they're getting the best out of them, I think. And for them to go down there, I think it's going to be a hard-fought game tomorrow. I think we have an opportunity. Obviously, after playing Georgia earlier, we know what we need to do when we go against these two teams like this. And I think they'll have a different mindset going out there tomorrow. They'll be confident, but not overly confident. They know they can't make mistakes. I know if they can get out there and make it close at the end, I think we'll have a great chance to come out with a victory.
Former Razorback wide receiver Richard Smith was us here on the Morning Rush. And, Richard, I think part of that confidence stems with their quarterback in KJ Jefferson, who the entire team believes in. And dual-threat quarterbacks have been a hindrance for Alabama. There haven't been many teams that have beat them, but more often than not, a dual-threat guy has been the one that's been kind of their Achilles heel. You think KJ Jefferson is the right fit, the right QB to give Alabama fits tomorrow?
To tell you the truth, I do. He kind of reminds me of my quarterback, Matt Jones, and I know Matt gave them fits back in 2003. Just when they come with a blitz and they miss him with their first initial charge, and he can get out and he can make some big plays with his legs, just like Matt could back in the day. KJ's a great kid. He's really confident in himself, and I think that rubs off on everybody else and makes them more at ease when they get on the field. And I really love the kid. He works hard. He really works hard. He comes in here and works hard at his academics, and he works hard on the field. And I think he's going to be the number one reason why we win this game tomorrow.
Richard, you had some talented teammates in the wide receiver room, and there have been guys that have stepped up this season, but it's really been Traylon Burks and everyone else. Based on what you've watched at that position, your former position, who do you think has a really good opportunity to be that kind of that second or third piece against the Crimson Tide tomorrow at wide receiver?
Yeah, I really was thinking about this morning, yesterday. I think Warren Thompson has to step up, and I think Tyson Morris has to step up and make some plays. That way we can get Traylon some single coverage, and then he can make his plays. Obviously, Devion Warren, if he could make a couple catches, that would help us, and then get a couple of our tight ends some catches, I think will help open up things and free Burks up to make some plays. And if we can get those things to happen early in the game versus later in the game, I think it'll help our offense.
Richard, you were a guy that started in track and football, and Arkansas seemingly hasn't had that connection in quite some time to really get those speed guys that can star in two sports. What is Arkansas missing there, and what's the key to maybe making that connection again? Because Arkansas seemingly has had one or two guys along the way the last two decades, but the real speedsters have seemed to not be there in the lineup for Arkansas the way it was when you were there.
Well, Tom, I think you know this as an official like I am. More kids are going specialized. They don't play as many sports when they get to high school. I was all about, playing as many sports as I could. I wanted to play football, basketball, baseball, and track, but obviously the time commitment, I couldn't do all four, and I ended up settling on the two. And I think Arkansas can go out and get those type of kids that are speed guys, that have run track, have played basketball and played football. And if they want to help out with the track team at some point while they're here, they're able to do that. But also they can help us on the football field. But I think it's more of just the way that our culture has gone, as being specialized in one sport year-round, the AAU basketball or just year-round football.
Yeah. Do we focus too much as football fans on 40 times because that's the big recruiting number? What's the metric we really should watch with football players? Because we all measure everybody's speed based on their 40, but that doesn't always tell the story, does it?
No, it doesn't. And I think you know this, that you can have a fast 40, but can you play at that speed? Mm-hmm. There's a difference when you can run a 4.4, but can you run a 4.4 with all the gear on? I was one of those guys that I ran a low 4.3, and I tried to play at 4.3, but it's difficult to run your fastest when you have those pads on. And so some of the guys that don't run 4.5s or the 4.6s, but they play at 4.5 and 4.6 with pads on, they look a lot faster. I would think like the guy that played here, Darren McFadden. I think he looked faster than his 40 time when he played.
Yeah,
there's track speed and then there's football speed.
Yeah, Darren had a long.
Definitely.
I think it was one that stands out in 05. He had a long touchdown run in.
Seems like Corliss Marshall's the last guy though you had that was a real burner, wasn't it? I mean,
it's been a while.
I mean, you've had some guys with fast times, Richard, but Boy, the guy that could just turn it on and leave everybody in their dust, seems like Cortland obviously didn't worry, but he's the last guy I remember that you could really just find that extra gear.
Yeah, I remember Cortland, and he was that guy. I think we've had a couple since then, but it's just hit and miss with those guys. Like, it's harder to have a tall, slender track guy come over and try to play football, and them not being used to getting the contact that you need. So you need a guy that has a little bit of weight on him to come over and play football, but also be able to have that explosiveness to run that you need at wide receiver or even running back.
I know they were excited about Josh Oglesby, and he just couldn't make his way up the depth chart, and he's entering the transfer portal. That was kind of a track and football guy. Maybe it'll be this next freshman, Isaiah Satania, who is at Fayetteville High School right now. Maybe he'll be the combo guy that you want, maybe kind of similar to you, where he's outstanding in both track and football. Richard, before we let you go, it seems like you're, based on the conversation we've had to this point this morning, you're pretty confident about this game tomorrow and Arkansas's quarterback. How do you see this playing out in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, starting at 2:30 tomorrow?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think if we get the ball, no mistakes, no false starts, nothing to hurt ourselves, that we can go out, put the ball in the end zone, get some kicks from Cam Little. I think we'll have an opportunity to win this game. Like I said, as long as we don't give up big plays on defense, nothing big, nothing sudden, no one play big 80-yard touchdown bombs or anything like that. I think we'll have a great opportunity because our defense has been playing lights out, and all we need is for our offense to have a secondary wide receiver or a tight end to help out in the passing game. That way it opens up for Traylon, and then I think our offense will open up, and then you just never know what could happen from there. And with the confidence our team plays with, the confidence in Sam Pittman and the staff, I think we have a great opportunity to go out here and get a victory.
Richard, really appreciate your time this morning. I was looking back to our last conversation a little over a year ago, back in September of 2020. It's crazy how much this team has changed in Sam Pittman's first year to where they are now. And I know you're happy, and every other Arkansas fan is happy. And we're also happy you made some time for us this morning.
We're back and better than ever. A new web interface to start the basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV 50 to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, and baseball postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.